Hello, welcome to our channel Learn to Score. In this video, I am going to introduce trigonometry. I hope you will like the video. Please subscribe to our channel for regular updates. Thank you. In several real world situations, we come across triangles and their applications, right? For example, look at the figure. Ladder, floor and wall. They make a triangle, right? The ladder, floor and the wall. If you draw lines parallel to ladder, floor and wall, they make a triangle, right? That particular triangle is a right angle triangle. Please note this, because the angle made by the wall to the surface of the floor is 90 degrees, right? And this is another angle you are interested in, right? For example, if you fix this particular angle, what should be the length of the ladder to reach a certain height? This kind of question you can ask. If I fix this particular angle, what should be the length of the ladder that is required to reach a certain height? Because this angle you can keep changing, right? For example, you can push the ladder towards the wall. Then the person who is standing on that ladder may not be able to stand stable, right? For that reason, a certain angle only you will require. Beyond that, ladder may be too slippery. Okay? So if that is the case, and you want to reach a certain height, what should be the length of the ladder if you fix the angle? Meaning angle, you know, because of the surface of the floor, you know what should be the angle. Okay? Given that, what should be the length of the ladder to reach a certain height? If you have this kind of question, how do you answer? How the angle changes with height if the ladder size is fixed? For example, the ladder size is fixed. By moving the ladder towards the wall or away from the wall, you can change the height to which the person is going, right? For example, if you push the ladder towards the wall, the person can reach more and more height, right? If you pull the ladder away from the surface of the wall, then angle is going to change and the person will reach only little height compared to earlier, right? So you got now the connect between the sides of the right triangle and the angle of interest shown here, right? Now let's look at another example. The slide, base and ladder make a triangle. If you look at this picture, the slide, base and ladder make a triangle, right? When you have this kind of scenario, what should be the angle of this slant, or what should be the angle of this slide such that the kid is going to slide? That is specific depending upon what kind of material you are using for the ladder and the person's weight and things like that, right? So now the question is, what is the relation between length of the slide and height of the ladder for a given angle where the kid slides? Meaning, if you fix this particular angle, okay, what should be the length of the slide if you change the height of the ladder? Understood? So this also says that there is some relation between sides of right triangle and the angle shown here, right? Trigonometry is a branch of mathematics that defines the relation between lengths of sides and acute angles of right triangles. Trigonometry is the branch of mathematics that defines the relationship between lengths of the sides and acute angles of right triangles. Please note this. Since we are talking about right triangles, let's understand a little bit about right triangles. Let us consider a right angle triangle, triangle ABC, as shown in the figure, right? Here angle B is 90 degrees, right? It is right angled at B. it means angle B is 90 degrees. We know sum of the angles of a triangle is 180 degrees, right? It means angle A plus angle B plus angle C equal to 180 degrees, right? We know that angle B is 90 degrees, right? It means angle A plus angle C is going to be equal to 90 degrees. When angle A plus angle C is equal to 90 degrees, it means that both of them will be having less than 90 degrees value, right? Because their sum is 90 degrees. If angle A is 0, then C can be 90 degrees. But in triangle, none of the angles are going to be equal to 0, right? It means angle A is some finite value greater than 0 and angle C is also some finite value greater than 0, right? Since their sum is equal to 90 degrees, we can say that angle A is going to be less than 90 degrees and angle C is also going to be less than 90 degrees. Please note this. We know that the angles which are less than 90 degrees are called acute angles. It means angle A and angle C are acute angles. Please note this, right? 90 degrees angle is called right angle. Less than 90 degrees, the angles are called acute angles. If the angle is greater than 90 degrees, then that particular angle is called obtuse angle, right? But we don't really bother about that because you will have in trigonometry, you will have one of the angles as right angle and other two angles as acute angles, right? The side opposite to the right angle, here the side opposite to right angle is side AC of the triangle, right? That is called hypotenuse. Please note this. The side opposite to the right angle is called hypotenuse. In this particular figure, AC is the hypotenuse, right? Now, let us consider angle A. Angle A is one of the acute angles, right? If you consider angle A, the side opposite to that particular angle is called opposite side. In the trigonometry notation, it is called opposite side because it is opposite to one of the acute angles, angle A, because we are referring to angle A here. If you refer to angle C, the opposite side is going to be AB. Please note this. Now, for angle A, AB is going to be the adjacent side. Please note this. The notation here is side AB is going to be the adjacent side to angle A, which is of our interest in this particular case. Got it? Let us learn about trigonometric ratios now. Let observe the angle and lengths of the sides of the triangle. You observe this particular angle and lengths of sides of the triangle. You see, as the angle increases, we have observed that lengths of hypotenuse, that is this particular side, and the side opposite to the angle of our interest, that is this one, right? These two have been changing, right? They have increased, right? As the angle increases, lengths of hypotenuse and opposite sides are increasing. It says that lengths of hypotenuse and opposite side are functions of acute angle considered in this figure, right? You can say that lengths of hypotenuse and opposite side of the given angle are function of the acute angle you considered, right? Keep that in mind and again take a look at how things are changing. As the angle increases, what is going on to the side opposite to the angle and what is going on to the hypotenuse of the given right angle triangle. You see, as the acute angle is increased, hypotenuse and opposite side lengths have changed, right? Based on that only we said that length of the hypotenuse and the opposite side length are dependent on the acute angle considered. Can we say this? Based on whatever figure we have seen, we can say this, right? Length of hypotenuse and length of opposite side are dependent on the acute angle I have considered here. Let us now consider another triangle of the same angle. You see, the angle here of the yellow color triangle and the angle here of the blue color triangle both are same, right? But the opposite side lengths and the hypotenuse side lengths are different, right? So whatever we have said here, hypotenuse length and opposite side length are dependent on the acute angle considered, right? But that is not obvious here. That is not true here, right? When you have a different triangle with the same angle, you have seen that length of hypotenuse and length of the opposite side are different from that of the blue color triangle, right? So what we can do now, let me consider ratio of the lengths of opposite side and hypotenuse. You have seen different right angle triangles, right? The ones before drawing the blue colored right angle triangle, we have seen different right angle triangles, right? If you take ratios of the lengths of opposite sides and hypotenuse, for example, for blue color triangle, you take opposite side divided by hypotenuse, and yellow color triangle, you take opposite side by hypotenuse. Similar to that, you take the ratio of opposite side and hypotenuse for multiple right angle triangles. When you do that, you get a figure like this. The ratio can be 0 or it can be any value between 0 and 1. This is what one can do. For example, by drawing different right angle triangles and taking their ratios. Ratios of lengths of opposite side and hypotenuse, what you get is a curve like this. The curve you are seeing here is obtained by taking ratios of opposite side and hypotenuse lengths for different right angle triangles. Okay? This says that the ratio is function of angle only. It doesn't depend upon the size of the right angle triangle you considered. It is same for all right angle triangles. Okay, the ratio is just dependent on angle only. It means for 20 degrees, the ratio is something. For 90 degrees, the ratio is 1. For 0 degrees, the ratio is 0. Right? For 45 degrees, the ratio is something. For 30 degrees, the ratio comes out to be 0.5. Like that. Right? The ratio is only function of angle and it is same for all right angle triangles. Meaning you draw a right angle triangle of size in kilometers or sizes in centimeters. Depending upon the angle, the ratio is going to be defined. The ratio is independent of the size of the right angle triangle. Got it? That ratio, we said that it is just function of angle, right? I can write it as length of opposite side divided by length of hypotenuse is a function of the angle. That function I have shown here using the graph. Right? That particular function is called sine function. Please note this. In the trigonometry notation, you have this ratio of length of opposite side and length of hypotenuse. That ratio is called a sine function. Okay? Sine of angle is equal to length of opposite side by length of hypotenuse. This is how also we can write. Sine of the given angle is equal to length of opposite side divided by length of hypotenuse. Right? Now, you look at this. This is how the typical sine function is shown. Typical sine function is defined from 0 degrees angles to 360 degrees angle. Okay, at 0 degrees angle it is 0 and at 360 degrees also it is 0. Okay, this is going to repeat as the angle changes. Okay, the same function is going to repeat, meaning if you draw this for angles beyond 360 degrees also, what happens is it is going to be like a sinusoidal curve. This kind of curve, it is called sinusoidal curve. Okay, now what you have to learn here is this is just function of angle only, meaning at 90 degrees it is 1, at 180 degrees it is 0, at 270 degrees it is going to be -1, okay, and at 360 degrees it is going to be 0 again. Got it? Let us look at another function. Observe the angle and lengths of the sides of the triangle. We have drawn multiple triangles, right? Multiple right angle triangles. Have you observed the angle, how it has been changing, and how lengths of the sides of triangle are changing? If you have not observed, let's take a look at it again. What you must have seen is as the angle decreases, the lengths of hypotenuse and adjacent side were increasing, right? If I call this as the angle, because this is the angle we are interested in, the side adjacent to it is called adjacent side, and the side opposite to 90 degrees angle is called hypotenuse, right? Have you observed the lengths of hypotenuse and adjacent side were changing, were increasing as you decrease the angle, right? From this particular triangle to this particular triangle, when you reach, the angle was decreasing, right? Length of hypotenuse and length of adjacent side were increasing, right? In other words, I can say that as you increase the angle, the lengths of hypotenuse and adjacent side were decreasing, because this particular side of the triangle is same, right? Because when you draw a line like this, you can say that the side opposite to the angle of interest is opposite side, that was not changing, but rest of the sides were changing, right? As you decrease the angle, their lengths were increasing. As you increase the angle, their lengths were decreasing. Got it? Similar to earlier case, let's obtain the ratio of lengths of adjacent side and hypotenuse. Here you have seen so many triangles, right? For every triangle, you have adjacent side and you have hypotenuse. And every triangle has got different angle also, right? This angle is different from what you have seen for the other triangles, right? So angle was different and lengths of adjacent side and hypotenuse were different for different right angle triangles. If you obtain the ratio of the lengths of adjacent side and hypotenuse, what you get is a figure like this. Okay, when angle is almost 0, what happens is the ratio is going to be 1. When angle is almost 90 degrees, the ratio is going to be 0. In between, for different angles, for example, for 60 degrees angle, the ratio is 0.5, right? So it has been changing as the angle changes. The ratio has been changing as the angle changes. And interestingly, the ratio here also is just function of angle only, and it is same or unique for all the right angle triangles. This particular function, what you have seen here, this graph, is called cosine function. Please note this. This cosine function can also be shown for 0 to 360 degrees angles. Okay, at 0 degrees it is 1, at 360 degrees also it is 1, and 180 degrees it is -1, and 90 degrees it is 0, and 260 degrees it is 0. Sorry, 270 degrees it is 0. The cosine function changes like this, and one can draw cosine function for infinite number of degrees. Okay, then the cosine function is going to be go like this. It starts from 1, meaning it starts like this and goes like this. Okay, at 0 degrees angle, it is going to be 1. Got it? Now you understood this particular function is called cosine function. That is going to be cosine of angle equal to length of adjacent side divided by length of hypotenuse, right? Length of adjacent side to the considered angle divided by length of hypotenuse, right? Now let's look at various trigonometric ratios. Whatever we have seen just now, the cosine function and the sine function are called trigonometric ratios. The ratios relating the sides and angles of right triangles are called trigonometric ratios. Please note this. The ratios relating the sides and angles of right triangles are called trigonometric ratios. We have seen one function called sine function, right? That was relating the opposite side and hypotenuse of the right angle triangle, right? In this particular triangle, when you consider angle A as the acute angle, its opposite side is BC, that's what we have written here, and its adjacent side is AB, right? For angle A, the opposite side is BC and adjacent side is AB. And for triangle ABC, AC is the hypotenuse, right? We have seen the sine function, sine of angle, that is BC by AC for this particular right angle triangle. That can be also written as sine SIN of angle A, or it is read as sine A. If you write sine A or sine of angle A or sine of angle A, everything is same. This is opposite side divided by hypotenuse for a given right angle triangle and an acute angle of interest, right? In this particular case, angle A is of our choice. The second function we have seen was the cosine function, right? Cosine of angle A can be written as adjacent side divided by hypotenuse. Adjacent side in this particular case is AB and hypotenuse is AC. AB by AC can be written as cosine of angle A or cos of angle A or cos A, right? We have seen now two functions and we have written two trigonometric ratios, right? Is that only enough? No, we can write few more. For example, instead of writing opposite side by hypotenuse, if I write opposite side by adjacent side, what is this function? This function is called tangent function, right? Opposite side by adjacent side is equal to tangent of angle A, that is equal to BC by AB for this particular triangle, right? And that can be read as tan A, or you can write it as tan of angle A, right? We have seen three functions relating a pair of sides of right angle triangle, right? Here we have seen the pair opposite side and hypotenuse. Here we have seen the pair adjacent side and hypotenuse. Here we have seen opposite side and adjacent side, right? We know that we can write three more ratios. What are those ratios? Instead of writing opposite side by adjacent, opposite side by hypotenuse, the way we have written here, if I write the ratio as hypotenuse by opposite side, it can be written as AC by BC, right? This particular function is called cosecant function or cosecant of A, or you can write it as cosec of angle A or cosec A. Please note this, right? What we have done is we have written hypotenuse by opposite side this time, instead of writing opposite side by hypotenuse as we have written for the sine function. Here we have written it in the reciprocal form, right? That's why we can write cosecant of A as 1 by sine A. Got it? Now similarly we can write the reciprocal for cos function. Here cos function is adjacent side by hypotenuse, right? The reciprocal is going to be hypotenuse divided by adjacent side. That is AC by AB for this particular right angle triangle. That function is called secant function or secant of angle A, that can be written as sec of angle A or sec A. This is another trigonometric ratio that is reciprocal of the cos function, that is cos A. Secant function is reciprocal of cosine function. Got it? Now we can write another function that is reciprocal of tan function, right? For tan function, it is opposite side by adjacent side. Now, for reciprocal case, it is going to be adjacent side by opposite side. That is called cotangent function. It can be read as cot of angle A or cot A, right? For this particular right angle triangle, it is AB by BC. Got it? Now we have seen for angle A, right? All these functions, whatever we have seen, are called trigonometric ratios. And we have seen, or we have written for angle A, which is one of the acute angles. You can write for angle C also, right? In general, for an acute angle theta of a right angle triangle, one can define trigonometric ratios as sin theta, cos theta, tan theta, cosec theta, sec theta, and cot theta. You have total 6 trigonometric ratios. Got it? Let us summarize what we have learned just now. For an acute angle theta of a right angle triangle, the trigonometric ratios are defined as sin theta equal to length of the opposite side to angle theta divided by length of hypotenuse of the right angle triangle, right? Cos theta equal to length of adjacent side divided by length of hypotenuse. Here when you say adjacent side, it is an adjacent side to the angle theta, right? Then we have seen tan theta, that is length of opposite side divided by length of adjacent side. That can also be written as sin theta by cos theta. Right? When you write sin theta by cos theta, here and here length of hypotenuse is there, right? That will get cancelled and you will write it as length of opposite side divided by length of adjacent side. Right? Now we have written reciprocal of sine function, that is cosecant function. So cosec theta is 1 by sin theta, that is equal to length of hypotenuse divided by length of opposite side, right? The reciprocal of cos function is sec. Sec theta equal to 1 by cos theta, that is equal to length of hypotenuse divided by length of adjacent side. The reciprocal of tan function is called cot function. So cot theta equal to 1 by tan theta, that is equal to length of adjacent side divided by length of opposite side, right? Till now we have learnt about where trigonometric ratio, what are trigonometric ratios and where trigonometry concepts are being used, right? Let's take a look at an application, how trigonometric ratios or the concept of trigonometry can be utilized. Let us consider a right angle triangle, triangle ABC, and find length of side AC. In this particular triangle, one side is given, that is 3 units, right? That is BC. And look at this, angle is 30 degrees. This is an acute angle. If you consider acute angle A, the side opposite to that is given 3 units length, right? Adjacent side length we don't know, and the hypotenuse, that is AC, its length also we don't know, and we are asked to find. For example, if you have side length AB also known, for example, in that case we can use Pythagoras theorem and obtain the length of hypotenuse, right? But in this particular case, since length of AB is not known, we cannot use Pythagoras theorem. But interestingly, we are given angle 30 degrees here. So we have to find length of hypotenuse, right? We have learned that sin A or sin theta equal to length of opposite side divided by length of hypotenuse, right? So if we know angle A equal to 30 degrees, it means sin 30 degrees equal to BC by AC. Length of BC we know, right? Length of AC is what we want to find. As of now, we don't know sin 30 degrees value, right? But we learned that sine function is there that varies from 0 to 1, from 0 degrees to 90 degrees, and it keeps changing as shown in the figure, right, as the angle changes. Now when you look at for 30 degrees, of course here it is not so clear, but 30 degrees, this is going to be 0.5, right? Of course this particular function, whatever sine function we have seen here, that has been developed, and values of sine function for different angles are already available in table form. Okay, looking at that table, you can say that sine 30 degrees is equal to half. Okay, for certain angles we are also going to find values of sine function, cos function and all in upcoming videos. But if you look at in the mathematics literature, already people know about all these values. For 30 degrees, what is the sine function value? For 60 degrees, what is it? What about sine 30.5 degrees? You know, all these known. Okay, let me now substitute half for sine 30 degrees and 3 for BC. Then we can write this as half equal to 3 by AC, right? If I do cross multiplication, then I can write it as 1 times AC equal to 3 times 2, right? It means AC equal to 6 units. You got it? The length of the hypotenuse AC is equal to 6 units, right? With the help of trigonometry and with the help of knowledge of this kind of functions, sine function, cos function and all, we can solve some of the problems. Okay, some of the problems of real world nature. It's not just, you know, some mathematics problems given in your textbook. These are real world problems, can also be solved using trigonometry. Understood? I hope you like the video. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel Learn to Score. Thank you.